And it's time. Welcome to Master Fran Art Stream. The fine Thursday night, April 10th. It's a cool day most of the day. I just been doing a whole bunch of different stuff. Might be a shorter stream, but you know, I will do my best for this coming today. Tonight I'm working on a new commission where I'll be making some new Balatro cards. Probably won't be gaming today because it's later at night and I kind of just want to get at least some work done on this before I guess turn out for the night. Oh, some cutscene stuff I'm trying to lay out for Blackmask. I've been pretty okay overall, just living my life. All these spades. Back of spades. Base card. That's cool. But yeah, working on some new commissions. I should probably show off what I've been up to. I've recently finished up some commissions where I worked on a friend's custom commission. And this is what I've got so far. Got a King of Hearts, a Queen of Hearts, and a Jack of Hearts. And this is, this person's character. A, what's it, Frogsune Miku, I think it is. So that's kind of one of those funny little things that I've been doing. And he liked my stuff so much that I'm doing another suite of, I'm doing another set of base cards. So this time I'm doing a bunch of spades. So gonna get a few layouts with this and probably get started on either the first two or maybe like the I don't know, maybe all three if I'm fast enough. But it's been pretty okay. Is this the multiplier? I always keep thinking this is a multiplier, but it's not. Yeah, Balatro can sometimes gaslight me sometimes, where sometimes I think cards look like something that they're not. I missed out on yesterday's stream because I had a union meeting at my workplace and that canceled. And the second union meeting that was supposed to happen today also canceled, which is hecking annoying when it comes to stuff like this. Difficult to care about contributing to your union when it's difficult to have, I guess, reliable, I don't know, leadership. And since you're kind of low on, well, they're not low on the totem pole, in the chair and stuff like that. Since you're kind of just there, you're not really doing anything extreme. So I mean, you got nothing to complain about overall. But it's one of those things where, I joined to, back up what I want to walk the walk, to talk about saying, yeah, I like unions, and I do nothing with those unions. I joined in order to kind of just be like, okay, what does an actual union do? So that's basically why I joined in my workplace, to kind of just, get more familiar with that. So, whenever I gotta deal with other types of things, I'm not completely, I guess, alien to the idea. Spades. But, I mean, it's been kind of okay. I've just been doing basic stuff overall. with, you know, just showing up to the meetings, trying to listen, you know, listen to whatever employees are kind of like talking, asking me about, you know, important dates whenever the actual meetings are happening, stuff like that. To try to, you know, to try to be a little bit helpful and not like, you know, this big super leader. I'm not a leader and I shouldn't be. This ain't my job to be a leader overall. And at the end of the day, it's still a job that, you know, I don't want, but I do want to try to make the best of it, despite, you know, me not really wanting to do the job I'm here for. But it is what it is. I'm actually copy. Make a toolkit. Unlock. Do this. Okay, how the heart sweets. Thought spade sweet. Yeah. Okay, I'm kind of just pondering as I go out loud. I'm not really talking too much about my day because I'm also just working on this art as I go. But yeah, let's see, what other things have I done? Oh yeah, last weekend I went to Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee. I live in Illinois, so it's close. It was on the border. But I went up to Wisconsin to kind of just see the cool games, check out the indie devs that are out there, kind of showing off their stuff. But a bunch of homebrew people making their own, you know, actual hardware accurate real life NES games and things like that. I tried out a bunch of homebrew games. I tried Storied Sword, which is this Princess Bride inspired, you know, platformer. You know, a lot of the gameplay is also inspired by Batman and Ninja Gaiden. Like when you do the wall jump, you'll immediately notice it's very like the Batman games. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, damn. Video blocked. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this is just so much setup. Okay. Field plus new layer will be the actual character. Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of like working as I go with this, so you know, a lot of this stuff is kind of just me figuring it out as I go. But yeah, back to a Midwest Gaming Classic. I went around and walked it. I wasn't selling stuff at the convention. I was just there to see it overall, and wasn't really doing anything significant with that. Just seeing the sights, you know, saying hello. Well, not really hello to most artists, just meeting the artists who were there, because, you know, there's artist alleys and stuff like that, but a lot of vendors are mainly retro game sellers. I impulse purchased a Game Boy Pocket. Yeah, flip to. I impulse purchased a Game Boy Pocket. It's a legit hardware accurate Game Boy with cart. Got Link's Awakening, always a nice essential game. And it's basically just me, I suppose, nostalgic. I mostly just bought it on an impulse purchase. I already have an Ambernick, what's it, R35XX. And it's basically my emulator box for if I can if I can't find an existing game on a cartridge or anything like that, I can always just try it on this. Plus, you know, it's got a backlight and things like that. This is mostly for just personal. I like messing about. And of course, this doesn't have a backlight also. It's kind of fun kind of going back to the silly retro stuff of finding AAA batteries and turning it on and noticing that the game isn't on, and then you're like, take off the cartridge, check, and you know, you don't want to blow into the cartridge because apparently it gets it wet, but you know, try to do like use cotton swab to dust it down. And also, one thing that I completely forgot about is the Game Boy has a contrast dial, so it will adjust the contrast so you can actually see the black and white stuff in there. It's kind of like, oh, that's kind of a thing that is sort of not needed because, you know, you have the backlight and you don't have to worry about not being able to see it in the sun and stuff like that. So it's kind of just one of those funny things with that old hardware. But I also have a few other games. I bought Final Fantasy Legend 2. Couldn't find Legend 1 at all because, you know, I guess they just didn't have it or someone took it up. And then I got Final Fantasy Adventure. And it's mostly just a few games that were of interest. It's funny because I have the collections on the Switch, but I guess for the sake of just having personal immersion's sake for developing Blackmask, I kind of just got these just to pique my interest overall and kind of just see how that goes. And most of that stuff is also just me being inspired by seeing the other homebrew devs and stuff like that. A few streams ago, I was working on learning GB Studio, and I was really happy with what I did in GB Studio. I managed to get a few of my Game Boy commissions on GB Studio to actually work on the real hardware and stuff like that. So really happy with what I did in GB Studio. And I do want to dive in more. I've managed to get some taller sprites in GB Studio, like little walk around sprites. In fact, let me show you what I've got now. And just flip to GB Studio right here. And currently I have a bunch of test sprites where I made a very garbage, a bunch of garbage top-down sprites, and they have very rudimentary animations. You'll have basic 2-frame animations, and I think with this edition of GB Studio you can actually add more, and you can have taller sprites in GB Studio. When I first saw GB Studio, I assumed that you could only make the 8x8 sprites, and that was all you can make, like 8x8, 16x16, and that was about it for those sprites. But I think this is an updated version of GB Studio where you can basically have more sprites overall, so that's been pretty cool, just being able to work with that, work with larger sprites. And you basically have roughly, how wide is this? So this is roughly 16, so 32 by 32. So you got a bit of room, but of course you still need to stay under a certain amount of tiles. Number of unique tiles, reduce the number of unique tiles to allow more sprites to be used in a single scene. But yeah, that's one of those things where I'm gonna have to learn what I can truly do with this, because if I want bigger sprites, it's going to limit the amount of other sprites that I'll be doing. So I did some super rudimentary, basic, you know, just to see how the engine would actually walk around. I'm gonna have this walk around. So we have a basic, you know, you can walk around and walk and talk. You press A, and there's the basic hello world thing, just out of programming. That's kind of strange. That his head is underneath. That's strange. I've never seen that before. I guess it's one of those just weird quirks about having such a taller sprite in comparison to most other sprites. Because I don't think there aren't many sprites that are like this overall. Can't really think. Oh no, Metal Gear Ghost Babel has sprites at least at this ratio. I don't know if it's on like 8:16 or that, but yeah, just fiddling around with that. Anyway, back to was working on little conditions. But yeah, I kind of just been tackling that as I go, and you know, I dabble a tiny bit in GB Studio whenever I have the will and the time, and I decide to open it. And when I'm not working on Blackmask, or when I get bored of Blackmask, I dabble in GB Studio. But yeah, I just dabble in just little bits with that. I've been so I think currently the one thing that I'm currently working on with Blackmask is I've been I guess relooking at a lot of the Cole, I guess, dialogue against Nad to kind of just see, okay, is this dialogue cringe, and then try to figure out how to set the cutscenes with that. And it's kind of interesting because I'm trying to think about, okay, should it be widescreen? Should it take up the entire thing? Will captions be at the bottom? That kind of stuff. And it's one of those things where I'm still kind of just flying blind, because I know essentially you do need to make the basic border and stuff like that. I do have roughly a suite of previously made, I guess, thumbnails, so let's see. Blackmask Storyboard. Yeah, probably like open the path. Oh yeah, made some really early storyboards on paper, but it's much too, I guess, animation focused than how it is. This is a rough confrontation of Cole encountering Nad after climbing up the top of the level to get to him. I don't know if this is going to be Game Boy ready, but it's something. I have something to work with. So I'm not starting from nothing. It's mostly like little edits. This is part of the cutscene where Cole defeated Nad. So after you play the game, you fight the boss. Then after you defeat the boss, a little cutscene plays where it's like, yeah, you did it. And this is much too cinematic. Oh yeah, he was crawling towards it, so I'm trying to figure out what the heck these are supposed to be. I'm basically just running with my old animation college knowledge, working off of what I've been doing. And a lot of this is just a bunch of, I guess, rough, sloppy sketches that I've just been figuring out as I go. But of course, I'm also re-looking at the script, seeing how the pacing goes and things like that. I think I'll do something that's more 2D style, because I think I have some boards where it's just the 2D variant. Oh, damn. Let's see. That's cutscenes, maybe. A thumb. Yeah, I'm kind of just diving to Windows Explorer just to see which ones I actually did. I think the one thing that kind of just sucks about, I guess, my end of development is that a lot of my stuff is fairly, I guess, out of organization. Sequences. Characters. Yeah, I don't name stuff as well as I need to, and I think that's also been my personal bugbear in life, is that most of my stuff is a series of very jumbled notes. These are sketchbooks. That's not what I want. But yeah, here's a, I guess, larger intro where it's more of a 2D game. And this is very early, when I was like, okay, maybe Cole's like more of a just a general purpose person. And this was initially when the magic system was more like scrolls, which, thinking about it, I think for simplicity's sake, I'll go back to scrolls, because, man, I mean, it's cliche, but I can't think of anything better at the moment. But yeah, kind of like a basic, you know, cutscene where Cole gets attacked for the scroll. Then he pulls in his tent to roll up his tent into his coat, and then becomes his jacket. And then he runs off the screen to start the game. That'd be a just straightforward, simple thing. Probably change this up to be like, nah, shooting with arrows or something. Probably would be a better intro, honestly. Like, I feel like my first instinct's overall better. But it is what it is. I kind of... I think the island situation was a bad idea, thinking about it, because... I mean, I was thinking, okay, pirates, yada yada, you know, Cole's going on a treasure hunt because he's a treasure hunter, so, you know, he goes on a mystery island, it's nice and self-contained. Like, you know, when I initially thought about Cole, it's more of just a mystery seller who's, wherever he starts is where he starts. And I don't go into a giant elaboration of how he got there in the first place. He's just there. Here's where the story starts. Yada. But it is what it is with that. But yeah, I'll be working off of this. I finally start. Yes, I am going to start now. Okay. You, because... Base cards. Oh, okay. That's what's up. Also notice okay. I was like, I wonder why they're completely alternate colors. this because it's not the same black. That's high contrast mode is not the same black. But honestly, probably doesn't matter. Ugh. Let's actually get to work. Working is always one of those things where I'm not setting up as fast as I should be with this. All right, let me go back to the reps. All right, got my rep. Of course, it's a photograph of the person. So show the reps right now. I can make this work. All right, let's actually do this. All right, all right, all right. Sorry, let me just nudge this. All right, quizzical expression with a green butter. Okay. Fuck you. Fuck you, whack. You stupid shit, deal. All right. Let's go back to the run command where I gotta fucking reset my damn thing. What's it? MS config. This better be it. Damn it. It's services. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I made a tutorial that's basically just super helpful for lots of people. I can never remember how I did it. And that's kind of one of the most annoying things about Wacom's stuff is if you don't use the tablet for a long time, I guess it goes to sleep, or maybe the driver goes to sleep or something. But if you don't use the pen, you garbage piece of shit. All right, off the monitor, and I'm sure this is gonna shuffle things. Are you alive? Good. You should be alive. Okay. All right, problem solved. So let's just get to it then. Okay. One thing that's really nice is that I can flip you horizontal. This. Okay. Get him pondering. He has and of course this is going to flip. Gonna flip the other way where this flash wire is gonna be on the opposite direction. The one thing that kind of sucks is about the symmetry tool is that it also doesn't flip it like this either. So doesn't like do a vert mirror as well. But yeah, I'm gonna select you and then I'm gonna flip it, and then that's how it's gonna go. So again, I need to just get a super basic. Yeah, just get a super basic thing like this. I'll just use you as my just spot area. And I could probably make the head larger. Yeah, the tough thing about I guess the initial mess of pixel art is that you gotta work with, you know, the initial mess of figuring out what your line art's gonna be. But this is gonna work pretty well. So far, so good. Okay. This stuff here. Gotta be a bit of a think pose, so that's what I'm going for this. Work. But yeah, a lot of this is just getting through the rough patch of figuring out what the heck this is actually gonna look like. But overall, making the likeness is going to be fairly easy because with a small pixel art, you got a bit of a room to kind of just stretch yourself in terms of getting accurate with the pixel art stuff. So that's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with you know, he was pretty happy with the previous ones that I did. So now we're just making the next logical continuation with that. Right, put this down. Man, I can't believe it's already like 8:41 and I've gone nowhere. Alright, that. I guess I'll probably just have enough time to get one card done. Or at least one card laid out. I suppose I'll apologize for just me taking forever to get this done. mostly been helping my mom with her, I guess, recovering from, I suppose, being old. You know, it is what it is. I mean, it's more complicated than that. It's more just health issues, really. But a lot of those health issues just simply, you know, she's older and kind of got to make peace with the fact that, hey, your parents are mortal, which means you're going to have to grow up pretty fast, kid. And, you know, that's probably the typical millennial thing that they got to deal with, or at least I got to deal with overall. Especially when my finances are still sort of in flux. Probably a little bit more in flux these days, but I try not to worry about that as hard. I mean, so far things have been pretty alright with, you know, helping my family and stuff like that. Do my best, even if it feels like it's kind of pointless for me, where I feel like my presence doesn't really matter overall, because at the end of the day, I feel like I'm mostly just there to help others, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, you have, you know, it's good to be there for when, you know, your family needs you and things like that. But it's also one of those things where there's a lot of times where I worry that I'm gonna have to make a hard choice to let go of art in order to, you know, be better available for, you know, helping my family members out with, you know, their life stuff. Or when it comes to, like, you know, health issues, dealing with my disabled brother and shit like that. And it's a, you know, it's a constant thought that I just don't like thinking about in general. But it is one of those just elephants in my, I guess, metaphorical brain room where I don't want to acknowledge it because I'm afraid to acknowledge, you know, what I would do if I couldn't do art on the regular. And I do frequently blame myself for, you know, I guess, not being as proactive when it comes to making my art in general. I always feel like my lack of art success is completely my fault. That because I'm too scared and too perfectionistic to make work that should resonate with people, or at least make high quality work, or may just be proficient or prolific or whatever the heck the word is, where, you know, more people know about you because you make more finished art. And because I always just feel like, okay, my finished art just looks like garbage. Let's see, fly swires soar. It's like, okay, that actually solves a bunch of problems. He just puts on just big aviators. He doesn't have to, I don't have to think about how his eyes are gonna look, because they're just gonna be covered by just these big ass glasses. And that's just gonna be how that goes. Okay. But yeah, sometimes I feel like most of my artistic failures are completely my fault. And a lot of this is partially true. Like, I completely just fell off of learning 3D modeling, even though everyone was teaching and most of the jobs were going to 3D modeling. There's a lot of times where I see a lot of industry trends and I'm kind of like, man, it doesn't fulfill me as a person. And if that's the way the industry is going, I'm probably not for the industry, whatever the hell that means, you know? And it's kind of weird because I'm still in this dumb personal limbo where I'm being, you know, this indie, nobody can tell me what kind of work I need to do, you know, indie person, despite the fact that I'm still desperately trying to get the approval of someone. It's a vague someone. It's not even a specific person. It's literally, you know, I am waiting for permission to be a good artist for some stupid reason. It's this real dumb psychological thing where I am kind of just in a weird mindset where I'm scared to look bad because I've spent so much of my life struggling to feel like I'm good. So doesn't really show his mouth as much. That should go more closer to his image where it's more out with his it's more out with his it's more out with his fist than anything. Yeah, I mean, that's how life goes. You have regrets, and then you try to learn from those regrets and mistakes, only to realize that, well, you can't go back in time. You know, once you do it, it's already been done. And you gotta live with those mistakes. And I suppose you could go into this fate thing where it's like, because you did such and such at this certain time, you're now this sort of person. And it's kind of one of those things where it actually makes me feel worse because I feel more of, I guess I feel more like personal anger that I didn't already know that. I have this weird thought that I wish I intuitively just knew this from the start. I don't like not knowing the future in a way where even though knowing the future would be boring, I'd rather just live that boring life knowing everything's totally fine than dealing with this constant anxiousness of not knowing whether or not what you're doing is correct, you know? I struggle to accept struggle in the world, you know? I just feel like most struggles just aren't worth it in general. Like, you try to work on a thing and kind of like feel like, why am I even doing this? I don't feel any better doing this. I don't feel super enlightened. I'm not a better person. I'm not making the world better by doing this. I'm not I guess I'm not any more important than the next person who does it more often, way better and more interesting than I do. Yeah, his face is much too large. I think it's the fact that I'm struggling to get these aviator shades to look diagonal enough. It's difficult to figure out how to get these shades diagonal enough. I think I might just give up on the head and just make it a symmetry head. Just be done with that and just make it more of a symmetry head. Make it aviator. Just be done with that. Large and large. It's, you know, it's you know, it's basic stuff, but honestly, I feel like it's gonna be like that forever. You know what? I need to actually look up what aviators really look like. I think the problem is that I'm trying to do aviator stuff from my head when I should be looking at my refs. Alright, glasses. So I'm sure I've got glasses somewhere. Let's see. John. Oh, I don't have aviators at all. That's insane. Nothing. Right. I guess I'll be looking through my computer. See what's up. I'm just looking through my pictures list of headgear at the moment. Now I want head. Thank you. Alright, see if I can't find glasses spots. Eyewear. So I most definitely do not have any eyewear stuff. I could look at my deeper refs. Yeah, one thing that royally sucks is a lot of my refs are unorganized. I have to skim most of my image files just to see what's actually there or not. I'm also not going to put my ref folder on stream at the moment because I have not skimmed through it to make sure that I don't have any nipples actually showing, because I do keep anatomy refs. I don't need all the anatomy refs, honestly. Not one of those things. But it's also, you know, difficult poses or specific setups where I don't have a person to pose for me. I don't have the sketch. Of course, the pose that I need is not what I need at the moment. It's dumb. Yeah. I feel like an idiot sometimes. It's literally, I just take the stuff that I get put from my downloads folder, I put in my ref folders, and I don't organize it at all because I don't take the time to organize it, so I end up screwing myself in the end. Of course I'm organized. I don't want to immediately go to like image if I can. You know, I'm trying to make more of a habit of actually using the reps that I already have instead of doing these dumb Pinterest dives and not really internalizing how the shapes are supposed to look, as opposed to just copy the thing, draw it, you have it in your reps, and then you completely forget it. And you just lose that visual memory instead of actually committing to that, like, you know, that shape language and understanding what it means to make, you know, certain things look like certain stuff, like aviators. Like, I'm going off of a facsimile of how aviator glasses are supposed to look, but unless I actually dive in and, you know, figure out what the hell aviators actually look like, I could probably just rock this at the moment, because honestly, I could rock this if I wanted to, but it is what it is with that. Plus, I feel like the head could be larger. This ain't really working, but fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah. Yeah, like this could be wider. Yeah, go back to look at him. His face is a little rounder overall. I think also the fact that I'm not drawing his goatee can probably be an issue as well, but he has a fairly high hairline overall. And of course, I'll probably like symmetry of this look. Honestly, I could probably just rock this and then I'll use a lighter color, kind of just keep this going. It is what it is with that. Has a bit of helmet hair. I'm just gonna get something with this here. Yeah. Damn it. Yeah, we'll just go black and white with this at the moment. Because he has a slight goatee overall. A little too. Yeah. I was rocking this at the moment. Or something. Yeah, just seeing what I can do at the moment with getting something more interesting. I could probably make this goatee more faint. But right now, I'm just rocking colors that just there. Okay. That's as close as I got him at the moment. All right. Nothing wrong with that. Give him a t-shirt. That's plenty. I should delete that because it's too short to be music. All right. At least it's starting to just put together. It's coming together. Everyone loves the fart trumpet. Fart trumpet's always fun with MIDI. Everyone loves the fart trumpet MIDI. All right. This is working. Probably this down further, thin down the arm so it's a smoother arm transition. Like bulk up this part of the arm. That's a smoother transition. Right, so far, so good. He could be thinner. He looks much thinner. I feel like he is much taller. He looks. Fly sword could be thinner. I also don't have fly swatter refs, but honestly, it's probably plenty. Control S. Still haven't saved, have I? No, I haven't. 908. I'm making minimal progress, but it is progress. I can't crap on myself like that. As much as I do want to crap myself and whiplash myself and actually like saying, yes, you absolutely need to be better than who you are currently. Because who you are now is a giant disappointment to who you could be. Or not even who I could be, who I should be. I should just be this artist who's, just really good at art because, all the time commitment. I've blown so much time doing it. I've sacrificed a lot of relationships to try to get better. So that's a giant, psychological thing that I gotta deal with. Little bits of therapy where it's like, yeah, I basically just sacrificed any sense of maybe just life knowledge in pursuit of this basically bare bones. Ugh. It's very possible that I've wasted my life trying to pursue technical proficiency in something that is not that valued, honestly. Most things I do in art, I think most art just flat out isn't valued. And obviously this is by design. Most people in control don't like it when you have creative people able to speak their voice and critique power and shit like that. So it's yeah, of course there's been a slow and steady devaluation of arts through systems and shit like that. And something we live in a society, something. And you don't want to kill yourself because that's how they win. And it's man. But it's why should I even care about this, honestly? This world is overall just my presence means nothing here. Why do I keep bothering? Alright, friends of Shinbo. You. Honestly, I should probably just close GBC because it's probably eating up most of my performance. Save. And shit, I closed the everything app. 12. Yeah, well. Oh, goody. Alright, friends of Jimbo all. Alright, let's see. He's kind of pale. It's kind of got a icy look to him. Or we could pick the human skins. It's tough because a lot of the Balatro cards look like they'd be on cards as opposed to him on skins and stuff like that. So it's difficult to really determine whether or not certain looks are fine. I could just rock this though. Yeah, let's just get started doing this and then just work off this. Do that. Oh yeah, and he was supposed to have a green fly swatter, so right, let's see if I can't find like the most neon-y green. Ugh. And you're probably wondering why don't I just look at this palette here, since it probably has it. And the reason I don't is because I can't trust this palette to give me the actual accurate colors, because PNGs sometimes will have the jaggies and stuff like that, and this pixel art program will catch those jaggies, and the jaggies are so faint where two greens, even though they look super similar from a distance, like if you look at it from a distance they look similar, but when you zoom in they'll either be like two different shades, just very faint. Like you need to have a good screen or you need to like really be zoomed in. But stuff like this has happened where I upload a thing to something like low spec and it ends up finding colors in, it counts the number of colors that were used in the image and ends up finding colors that are so faint in differences that I feel like I probably could have optimized my palette count by just like looking at my stuff and optimizing everything to make sure that actually was was the proper color, was a good optimized amount and not a weird amalgamation of flat colors that are slightly grading out because I'm not using my screen to notice it as much. And I kind of just using this to see if I can just have a good fly swatter like this. It's not perfect, but it works for what I need to do. Probably should be drooping more, honestly. Because the fly swatter should be like it honestly should be drooping more. They'd probably rock a fairly dark shirt. Probably something. Those are spades. Sweet looking. Oh, it works. Excuse me. I could rock this. Use a shirt like that. Typical. Yeah, well, you know what? I'll just let that rock for now. This would be like a brown color. Rock that out. like the Equinox soundtrack. I do want to play Equinox because you know, it has one of the few Tim Follin soundtracks that are, you know, in 16-bit. So he's worked with higher fidelity tracks in comparison to a lot of 8-bit stuff on the Commodore 64 and well, not the Commodore 64, but the ZX Spectrum and the more like European consoles. Yeah. Go back to Isaac because Isaac had shading. So rock that. Oh yeah. Shit. All right, that means there's a gap. Yeah. One thing that's tough is you gotta be aware of fucking scrolling. Well, actually, I don't even know what I was saying overall with this. Yeah. Yeah, this would probably be like reduced again. I think I got this. Sort of working. Probably be a thicker line, like you could probably just work with this more, and then have you be more of a lineless t-shirt instead. Use you as the line. That work. It's sort of working. Things are actually coming together. I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing at the moment. I'm nodding. This is making me nod. Okay. And being creative when it comes to how this is looking. You know, he kind of looks like little V Mills, or at least the way I'm depicting him. Like his actual image, it doesn't look like a little V Mills, but you know, with the sunglasses, it kind of makes it look like him. If you don't know about Little V Mills, he's a video game cover artist. He does like a bunch of like covers of notable game tracks, like metal covers. So if you're into heavy metal, I totally recommend you give that guy a look. There we are. Okay. Wrinkles up. Goes this way. Yeah, nice pro tip when it comes to doing shirt wrinkles is that a lot of the tension points starts at one spot, and then everything hangs at this line. So most things it will go here. And if there's more than one tension point, they'll essentially cross. So if you are making two points of like where it hangs, most times it's going to cross like this. Wherever it crosses is where you basically can put their curve, because it's now adherent to gravity and stuff like that. And as it hangs and things like that in a regular cloth, it will, you know, straighten out as it goes to normal towels and stuff like that. But overall, it's one giant. It's sort of like what happens when you're doing perspective lines. You're doing 2-point perspective, and you know, wherever the horizon line and vertical line cross over, that's where you're putting, you know, where the 3D edges, like the x-axis is supposed to, you know, you have the two perspective lines, and one perspective line is going up this way, the other perspective line is going up that way. Wherever it crosses, that's where the z-axis will be. So you can use that. That's where you can, you know, have the basic, you know, vertical stuff, and everything looks like a fucking diamond, because this is super bare bones perspective. Most, I guess, professional perspective stuff will actually have those vanishing points far outside of the actual canvas, because no one actually explains that you know, a lot of, I guess, notable background stuff has the perspective lines outside the fucking canvas. And the big key to, I suppose, being good with perspective is keeping the lines of like keeping your perspective consistent as opposed to accurate. So that's kind of the big, like, notable secret when it comes to, you know, creating backgrounds that I've found is, as long as your perspective's consistent, you can fudge it much easier than if you were an architect and things like that. Like, if you're an architect, you can't actually fake that. So, you know, if you're trying to go to architecture school, you really can't fake it. Lucky for me, I'm not an architect. I struggle to appreciate architecture, even though I live near a city that's supposed to be infamous for its good architecture. But I'm like, I don't really go to the city that often. Plus, drawing buildings just tends to be so boring, and it's difficult to get excited about buildings because they're buildings and things, and you have to live in these places. I just don't feel like what's here is super important. And excuses, you know? It's one of those million of things where I never feel as adequate with my work as I'd like to be. lights shine. Should have did the shadows first because the light will be much easier. It's weird because the lighting's there. Man, just dumb. I'm dumb and I wish I knew more. I'm upset that I'm dumb. I don't exactly know literally everything there is to know about my job. I just never feel enough. Because it's easy to never feel enough. I'll save you. TV. Rotate that sprite. Alright, so I probably need to get rid of this, or to be accurate. So far, so good with this. I got one king here. Okay, I could probably like hide these face cards. Okay. I think I could probably add a third. I'll just use this. No? Alright, white. Should I just completely finally just go white? That'd be better. I also never realized that this tune is supposed to be Ave Maria, but you know, as a 16-bit thing. Yeah, it looks like the deal with its sunglasses. Difficult to make these look like aviators overall. It's looking a little too monochrome though. Could I add maybe a slight blue? Let's see if we can't palette change you. Damn it. Can't palette change you because you're already here. Okay. It's a little too bright. Let's see. I find something similarly dark, but not like completely out. Maybe you. Then go to this, and then that'll work a little better, maybe. Yeah, push comes to shove, fuck it all. No, that ain't gonna work either. Yeah, fuck it. We'll steal from this. And kind of just go off that and start from scratch. Also, this kind of like fades into the back. I wonder, could I make the gray? Could I make his hair fade away? That's not gonna work out. Like looking at a lot of these setups. That ain't working. I'm like constantly staring at this, wondering what could make this work. What could push this from slightly okay to heck yeah. It's difficult to determine that because you can't just figure out what you can do. Yeah, maybe his hair should be brown instead. Yeah, I'm now hitting a weird point where I'm just relying on the potato to just make the clicks. Kinda alright. The red's too much though. Need something that's slightly more subtle. Fortunately, this is probably the darkest brown I can find. In comparison. Sort of works. Though honestly, I think keeping the black beard was more than enough. Also, I lost with what the thing was supposed to be. Damn it. Maybe this was what it's supposed to be. No. This was supposed to be like a really pale sort of thing. Also, like, struggling to remember where I actually got that from. It was one of the, yes, it was this guy. You were the thing, I think you were supposed to be darker, maybe? I think one thing that's been pretty nice is doing this really tests my ability to see I guess contrast and kind of works. I feel like this was a better color. Like, this was a way better color overall. Just noticed that the bottom's not done. Crap. But I'm tired and I just want to sleep at the moment. This is okay. I feel like I need to figure out a way to kind of like add more color to this. So far, it's still looking a little mid. Like the paint, maybe I could get rid of colors with the fly swatter. Make it look more consistent. So far, it's still not working overall. Like, I need something more to this. Maybe a bit of yellow. Get back to that. Maybe this will be what I need. No, that's not working at all because it's much more desaturated. Maybe one of my actual Game Boy greens is better. Kinda, sorta. No, that's much too dark. Like, this was fine. Overall, no. Still needs more, I guess, blue to it. Yeah, let's go back to this. Maybe I'm just tired. It's not working overall. I think I'll have to let go of this for tonight. This was an okay stream, but it could be better. Thanks for stopping by, though. It's been, it's been, calming trying to just figure this out. I just had a not very happy day, so I just making do with, just trying to just calm down, just make some tiny accomplishment. Anyway, I will be attempting to stream next Wednesday. If not next Wednesday, next Thursday. But follow me on Twitch. I'll hit the follow notification button. I try to let people know on my socials like Blue Sky and all that, but that's not a 100% guarantee. So follow me on Twitch, hit that notification, and you'll see me live raw. You can ask me whatever questions you like. Anyway, I need some sleep. I am closing the stream. Have a good night.